You think you know how animals grow up, right? A puppy gets bigger, becomes a dog. A kitten becomes a cat. Simple, but what if I told you that for some creatures, growing up isn't about getting bigger? It's about becoming something else entirely? What if I told you some animals are born looking like aliens and have to literally digest their own bodies to be reborn? This isn't science fiction. This is the shocking, jaw-dropping process of metamorphosis and other dramatic physical changes that push the very limits of biology. From a tiny, helpless blob to a winged marvel, these are nature's most stunning and most extreme transformations. You will not look at these animals the same way again. We all get the basics of growth. Things start small and get big, but nature loves to break its own rules. For a huge portion of the animal kingdom, life isn't a straight line. It's a multi-act play where the main character is completely recast for each act. The scientific name for this is metamorphosis, a word that literally means to change form. It's a genius strategy. It allows the young to live in entirely different worlds than their parents, eating different food and facing different dangers. This cuts down on competition and gives the species a massive leg up. But metamorphosis isn't the only trick nature has up its sleeve. Some animals transform not for growth but for survival, changing their very appearance to match a changing world. Get ready to see the masters of the makeover in action. Let's start with a classic we all learned about in school. But the reality is way stranger than any textbook diagram. I'm talking about the frog. It all begins with a cluster of gelatinous eggs, which look more like weird jelly than future animals. From these eggs hatches not a tiny frog, but a tadpole, a creature that is, for all practical purposes, a fish. It has no legs, a long flat tail for swimming, and breathes water through gills. It lives completely underwater, just munching on algae. But then, the magic begins. Triggered by hormones from its thyroid gland, the tadpole starts a total system reboot. Tiny buds sprout from its sides, slowly ballooning into powerful hind legs built for jumping. Its face starts to reshape, its mouth widening into that signature frog grin. And internally, the revolution is even more profound. Its gills, useless on land, shrink and disappear, while a brand new organ, a pair of lungs, inflates for the first time. Its entire digestive system gets rewired, switching from a long gut made for plants to a shorter one designed for a carnivore's diet of insects. Finally, its tail, once essential for swimming, is slowly absorbed back into the body, its nutrients recycled to fuel the final push. The result is a creature that has conquered both water and land, a living testament to one of the most radical redesigns in the animal kingdom. Everyone loves a ladybug. They're cute, colorful, a welcome guest in any garden. But if you met a ladybug in its childhood, you probably wouldn't want to pick it up. You might even scream. The ladybug life cycle is a wild ride, and it starts with a tiny yellow egg, usually laid in a cluster on a leaf. But what hatches out is no miniature beetle. It's a larva that looks like a tiny six-legged alligator. It's elongated, spiky, and usually black with aggressive-looking colored spots. This little creature is a stone-cold predator. Its only mission is to eat. A single ladybug larva can devour hundreds of aphids and other soft-bodied insects before it's done growing. It is a relentless eating machine, shedding its skin several times as it gets bigger and bigger. After it's completely stuffed, it does something weird. It glues itself to a leaf, and its skin splits open one last time to reveal the pupa, a motionless, hardened case that looks like a little orange husk. On the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But inside, it's a whirlwind of construction. The larva's body is almost entirely broken down and reassembled. Special cells work furiously, building the adult's wings, its iconic spotted shell, and its new antennae. After about a week or two, the case splits open, and out crawls the adult ladybug. But it's not the bug we recognize. At first, its shell is pale, soft, and unspotted, making it incredibly vulnerable. It has to pump fluid into its body to expand to full size, and then wait for its exoskeleton to harden and for those signature spots to finally appear. Only then does it become the familiar garden jewel we all know and love. Not all transformations are about growing up. Some are about surviving a world that completely changes around you, twice a year. Meet the Arctic fox, a master of seasonal camouflage. This animal's transformation is so perfectly synced with its environment, it's like having two completely different outfits for the year. During the short Arctic summer, when the tundra is a patchwork of brown soil, rocks, and plants, the Arctic fox wears a coat of brown or grayish fur. This lets it blend in seamlessly with the landscape, making it nearly invisible as it hunts for birds and small rodents. But as autumn approaches and the daylight hours shrink, a remarkable change is triggered. This transformation isn't prompted by temperature, but by the changing length of the day, a process called photoperiodism. Special genes kick into gear and alter the production of melanin, the pigment that gives fur its color. The fox starts to shed its brown fur, and in its place grows a magnificent, thick, snow-white winter coat. This new coat is an evolutionary masterpiece. It can be up to 200% denser than the summer fur, giving it some of the best insulation of any mammal on Earth and allowing the fox to survive in temperatures as low as -70 degrees Celsius. But its main purpose is camouflage. Against the vast, white expanse of the Arctic winter, the fox becomes a ghost. This is crucial for ambushing the few prey animals active during winter, and for hiding from its own predators, like polar bears and golden eagles. This twice-a-year identity switch is a stunning example of how an animal can adapt its entire look to survive in one of the most extreme places on the planet. Now we go from transformations that take weeks or months to one that happens in the blink of an eye. The cuttlefish isn't just an animal. It's a living, breathing, high-definition screen. Its ability to change its color, pattern, and even skin texture is so fast and precise, it feels like magic. The secret is in its skin, which is embedded with millions of specialized cells. The main players are called chromatophores, tiny, elastic sacs filled with red, yellow, or brown pigment. These sacs are connected to a network of microscopic muscles, which are wired directly to the cuttlefish's brain. When the brain sends a signal, these muscles contract or relax, stretching a pigment sac from an invisible dot into a wide, flat disk of color. By controlling thousands of these pixels in complex combinations, the cuttlefish can create mind-boggling patterns across its body in less than a second. But that's not all. Beneath the chromatophores are other layers. Iridophores are like tiny iridescent mirrors that create shimmering blues and greens. And leucophores reflect the ambient light, allowing the cuttlefish to become a perfect, bright white to match the sand. It can even control the papillae on its skin, tiny muscles that can push its skin into spiky or bumpy textures to perfectly mimic a rock or a piece of coral. This system allows for flawless camouflage, whether it's hiding from a shark or stalking a crab. But it's also used for communication, creating dazzling, hypnotic displays to attract mates or warn off rivals. The cuttlefish is in a state of constant, living transformation, a creature that literally wears its thoughts on its skin. We've saved the most famous, and maybe the most profound, transformation for last. The journey from caterpillar to butterfly is so unbelievable that for centuries, Scientists had no idea what was happening inside that mysterious case. It begins, like the ladybug, with a caterpillar whose entire existence is about eating and growing. But once it reaches its final size, it hangs itself upside down, sheds its skin one last time, and reveals a chrysalis. And this is where things get truly bizarre. Inside that chrysalis, the caterpillar essentially digests itself. It releases enzymes that break down almost all of its own tissues into a thick, protein-rich soup. It dissolves into a smoothie of its former self. If you were to cut open a chrysalis at just the right moment, that's almost all you'd find. But it's not total destruction. Floating in this nutrient soup are tiny clusters of special cells called imaginal discs. These cells were inside the caterpillar all along, just waiting. Now, fueled by the protein soup of the former caterpillar, these imaginal discs explode into action. They are the blueprints for the adult butterfly. One disc becomes an antenna, another becomes a leg, and the largest ones unfold to become those magnificent wings. The few parts of the body that weren't dissolved are reorganized and integrated into the new body plan. After a few weeks, the process is complete. A completely new creature, built from the raw materials of the old one, breaks free. It pumps fluid into the veins of its crumpled wings to expand them, and after they dry, it takes its first flight. This isn't just a change, it's a resurrection. From a tadpole rewriting its body to breathe air, to an Arctic fox that wears the seasons, to a caterpillar turning itself into goo just to be reborn as a winged jewel, the animal kingdom shows us that growth is rarely a straight line. These transformations are some of the most radical, stunning, and awe-inspiring processes in all of biology. They're a testament to the relentless creativity of evolution, proving that in nature, change isn't just a part of life, it is life. These are just a few of nature's incredible shapeshifters. Which transformation blew your mind the most? Was it the self-liquefying butterfly or the instant camouflage of the cuttlefish? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the wild side of biology, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching.